Right now, there is a cohort of tech billionaires pouring vast fortunes into life extension. To them, human mortality is a simple error in our biology, a solvable software bug. But treating death as a technical problem is an instinct much older than Silicon Valley. Humans have been trying to hack this exact biological code for over 5 millennia. This is a cuneiform tablet recording the Epic of Gilgamesh. We are taught to read this as a mythological poem about grief. If you strip away the poetry, however, what you are actually looking at is history's first documented after-action report. Gilgamesh, a ruler with vast wealth and absolute power, possessed the physical resources to trigger humanity's very first technological singularity. He failed because he allowed emotional distress to completely ruin his logistics. The textbook summary goes exactly like this. The hero's best friend dies. Plunged into absolute despair, he wanders the desert seeking a magic plant. He finds it, leaves it unguarded, and a snake steals it. He goes home, defeated. That is the narrative of a sentimental poet. Look at the situation strategically. At the exact moment his friend dies in 2700 BC, a truly rational, calculating ruler wouldn't cry. He would analyze. What happens if we run a counterfactual timeline? What would the modern world look like if Gilgamesh had treated the cure for death, not as a personal spiritual journey, but as a militarized logistical campaign? The first strategic correction happens immediately. In our alternate timeline, Gilgamesh realizes the so-called gods, Anu, Enlil, Ishtar, are not divine spirits. They are a biological ruling caste hoarding a highly valuable planetary resource, time. He abandons the solitary pilgrimage. Instead, he deploys his elite vanguard. They march to the edges of the known world, capture local intelligence assets, like the tavern keeper of the gods, and extract the exact coordinates of the target through force. Once his forces locate the plant of eternal youth, Gilgamesh doesn't take a nap next to a river. He transports the specimen under heavy guard back to his capital city, Uruk. He builds a secure supply chain. Back inside the fortress walls, the plant is systematically cultivated. Gilgamesh creates an endless agricultural yield to permanently sustain a massive, undying army. By applying rigorous military logistics to a biological anomaly, an ancient Mesopotamian king establishes a permanent monopoly on life itself. Fast forward to the year 2026. In a world where the elite never die, democracy never evolves. The planet is carved into a handful of sprawling megacities, entirely controlled by 4,000-year-old primaries. Maintaining a static, immortal population for thousands of years requires an absolute administrative grid. In this timeline, those ancient ziggurats would evolve into brutalist concrete server hubs, processing the data and allocations of billions who refuse to die. When mortality stops, the math of human expansion changes. Within a few centuries, Earth's resources hit a hard limit. To sustain his undying legions, Gilgamesh would have been forced to push Bronze Age technology toward the stars, strip mining Mars for water and minerals long before the Roman Empire ever rose. Along the way, human culture dies. Art, literature, and religion lose all meaning. There is no need to contemplate an afterlife when the rulers have built a permanent, inescapable present. What we call culture is replaced by strictly enforced psychological maintenance protocols. The state produces content purely to prevent its immortal citizens from going insane with boredom. The terror of this reality becomes clear. When a ruling class successfully conquers death, human history, exploration, and cultural evolution hit a permanent dead end. Returning to reality, we can diagnose the historical Gilgamesh's actual strategic error. His failure was a profound lack of cynicism toward the rules set by the elite. He tried to find a biological fix for what was, in truth, a problem of political control. He wanted to defeat death rather than put it to work. Controlling a life-extending resource necessitates total visibility. To decide who receives the treatment, a regime must monitor every action and every loyalty. In this way, the promise of the plant becomes a pretext for building an inescapable intelligence network, where life itself is the reward for compliance. Absolute longevity provides a ruler with the ultimate leverage. When a king can withhold time itself, he has constructed a cage from which there is no biological escape. The tech leaders funding longevity clinics today are making the exact same miscalculation Gilgamesh did. They view eternal life as a purely positive asset, ignoring the dark logistics of a static world. The continuous, inevitable turnover of power, guaranteed by our biological expiration dates, is the only mechanism that actually protects human freedom. Next time you check the clock, remember, we have the freedom to move forward because an ancient king was too tired to kill a snake.